some quotes out of AT&T. So we're talking about the people who are considered to be senior executives. So this would be like the CEO or the CFO. These are like the CEOs of consumer groups, the CEO of the communications piece. You know, AT&T is a big company. They have multiple CEOs. All right, so these quotes that we get from them, we dissect them and we look into what they may mean. Because remember, watch what carriers do. Don't necessarily listen to what they say. Sometimes you got to read between the lines and, you know, read the tea leaves, as they say. Anyways, AT&T's quote from their CEO of communications: "We're focused on growing wireless the right way." Here's what we've been seeing from AT&T for the last several quarters. This is not exactly new. New in the grand scheme of things, but not new in terms of, like, I don't know. I call them the new AT&T. They're different today than they were 2 years ago. They've got a new CEO. They've got a new business approach. It's just, they're different. They feel different. All right, so what we've been seeing from AT&T is very aggressive phone promotions. If you're a wireless customer, you would be foolish to not at least consider AT&T as an option. So if you're a T-Mobile customer that's unhappy, if you're a Verizon customer that is unhappy, I think the search begins with AT&T. Before you look at prepaid, before you look at MVNOs, you need to look at AT&T as an option. Obviously, network experience is important, but there's other reasons to want to switch also. For example, aggressive device promotions. AT&T is also working on retention. So it's not just getting new customers to buy a phone from you and then you lock them into 24, 30, 36-month installments, but they're also working on the retention piece. So getting free iPhones and free Galaxies to customers who are new, switching, porting over, and then also those that are existing customers that they want to keep. Like I said before, it's a different AT&T. And most carriers, for the most part, have been always trying to get new customers, but they've neglected the existing customer. So it made the existing customer feel alienated. Why can't I get the same deal that somebody new gets? So you got a new friend. Oh, and you're all excited to have them as a new friend. You work really hard to impress them and make them like you. But you can't neglect your old friends, the ones that have been riding with you. If anything, I've always thought that existing customers were more important because the loyalty goes a long way. Having a low churn rate is important. Retaining your customers is crucial in long-term revenue. So they've done a good job of addressing new and existing customers on device promotions with both the Apple devices and iPhones and iPads, and then also Galaxies. The S21 line has a promo dating back to last year. They were aggressive with the Note series and the S20s. So they've done a really good job of that. In fact, it's shown in their additions. The customer ads for AT&T has been very good, and they're all real additions. And by that, I mean they're not free lines. AT&T doesn't give away free lines. So we're talking about, again, like they said, they're focused on growing wireless the right way. I think that's a jab at T-Mobile. Well, a lot of their additions have been a lot of free lines. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. I'm not going to sit there and speculate too much about it, but we know that they do give out free lines and customers take advantage of those promos. So over the course of the last 3 quarters, 4 quarters maybe, I think 4 quarters, AT&T has essentially added about 3 million customers in that time frame. And again, they're doing it the right way. Those customers are paying for those lines. There are, however, fears in the investment side. A lot of people that invest money and, they buy these dividend stocks. AT&T comes into play. They're always an option. But I think it's just a matter of time until those investors realize that what AT&T is doing is sustainable. A lot of them view AT&T as the stock that has been downward trending. And they had all those bad acquisitions with DirecTV under the old CEO, the Time Warner deal, right? That acquisition as well. And it was all bad. But now they've spun that off and the media is operated separately. And, honestly, AT&T is kind of at the forefront of competitive pricing in plans, device promotions, and then also their wireline. They're giving people 25% discounts if they take on a combination of wireless and then the fiber or the DSL, if it's offered in that area. I really feel like AT&T is actually pacing in growth, because this has been going on for the better part of the last 1+ years. So it's not a flash in the pan. Everything they've done is potentially sustainable. I just think it's a matter of time until the investors catch up to that. And I think competitors like T-Mobile, they see AT&T as a real threat to their ability to grow more. I think if it wasn't for AT&T being aggressive, T-Mobile's probably adding 1.8 million customers per quarter instead of 1.1, right? Because Verizon's not growing. That means AT&T and T-Mobile are really the only game for growth. So with AT&T now focusing on retention, they're looking at their churn rate. The CFO is very mindful of this. I know that Verizon is doing promotions as well. They haven't been doing it as long as AT&T. I know AT&T has the $800 promo for the iPhones. This dates back to last fall, so it's been ongoing for a few quarters. Verizon's not really any different in terms of those promotions. They're pretty much matching it with the biggest 5G upgrade promo ever. So really, if you think about it, T-Mobile's not the only one fighting for business. AT&T is as well. In fact, sometimes you could look at AT&T as a better option, and I'll tell you why. In many instances, AT&T's network access is better for a lot of their plans. Their network is more reliable. It's larger, so that could help some people. They also do mix and match of the plans. So you could have a starter unlimited, you could have plus, you could have elite. You can mix all of those on the same account. I know AT&T's churn rate is industry leading. I think the last we checked, it was like 0.76. I would not expect that to change here over the next couple of weeks. July 21st or 22nd, we're going to be getting earnings reports from AT&T. AT&T actually disclosed an important piece of information you guys should probably want to know. They are saying that the cost to switch customers is decreasing. They're spending less to get people over to their side. So that would be like the Sprint churning, T-Mobile churning, Verizon churning. It's costing them less to bring those people in and bring them on their network. So they're doing a good job of keeping customers from porting out. They're giving them good deals like they give the new customers. They're getting them locked in for 30 months, 36 months in some cases, right? And they're still improving their share, their market share, but also they're improving their ARPU. It's costing them less money to get them to switch. So I think the narrative around this whole concept of, you know, T-Mobile growing like crazy, I feel like AT&T's growth is just as impressive, but it's more profitable, so one could argue that it's better. Depends on who you ask and what your perception of growth is. Me personally, when I look at, for example, free lines, I mean, how meaningful is that? CEO, Sweaty Armpits, Eugene, Mike Sievert, he says it doesn't cost much to give out those free lines. Well, it's not generating you revenue. You know, you can call it a retention play. It makes people happy. All that is true. But it's not helping your bottom line unless you were just trying to curb the churn rate. But that's not really changing your ARPU. That's maintaining your revenue. And maintaining, that's not growing it. Unless, like, for every free line you're giving, you're gaining 2 paid lines. Then it's like a 1-for-1 in a way.